Hey guys, Faith and Ellen. I know I heard from you guys and talked to you, and I wanted to do something really quick for you today just to kind of make you feel more confident with your um, 45-minute practice DBQ that's due by Sunday night. That hopefully you'll get it done by then. But I just wanted to go through kind of some things we did in class just to set the stage for what you'll see when you go through that on Sunday night or Sunday, whenever you do that. So this is for you guys and whoever else watches this. I'll post this up and send it to you guys specifically on the email. But I'm taking a prompt from, well, at this point, let's say I don't know, and I know because I picked it. But the prompt says, I'm going to go back and forth, and I'll share these documents with you as well, just so you can look at them. But this says, the question is, to what extent did sectionalism impact both the North and the South during the antebellum period, as well as the Civil War? And the term antebellum, um, I need to know what that means. And it means between the wars. And if I can go by a couple historical things, I need to see my documents to see exactly when this is so I can give me some contextualization. Um, but also, I know when the Civil War is, as well as after the Civil War, which I'm thinking sectionalism, antebellum after the Civil War. So I'm thinking 1865 is the Civil War's end. And so I need to be probably going along the lines of Reconstructionists, especially if it's talking about North and South and sectionalism. So I look at this question and this is what I'm seeing. First thing I have to do is read the question and know when and what it's asking. So antebellum, I'm assuming I know, and I do know. So we're taking it. It can be anywhere. It depends on what war you're referring to, and it depends on what historian you're talking to about the antebellum period. But when I'm seeing this, I'm going, okay, antebellum. That could be the War of 1812 through after Reconstruction. It's 1877 after the Civil War, which is Reconstruction. What is it asking me? It's asking me to what extent. So I'm making an opinion about sectionalism's impact on both the North and South. So I need to talk about to what extent did this sectionalism deal with the North and the South or have an impact on the North and the South. And so I know what the question says. And second thing I need to do after I read the prompt and kind of get the when and the what it's asking, I need to evaluate the documents and categorize them if they'll go into North and South, North, just South, whatever I want to do on those. So I'm going to go through these documents really quick and see if I can get a good description of the documents, which is my first point on my analysis of and document interpretation is just a summary of the documents in my own words, a sentence or two to describe that document. And then the next thing I need to do is how am I going to use that to create an argument and back up my argument from the for my thesis and to my extent that I'm going to be arguing. So I'm going to go to these documents real quick. And document one is a map of westward expansion. And this talks about the Missouri Compromise. So I'm guessing here this is 1820 because Missouri Compromise is 1820. And that's the win. And when I'm looking at this, I'm going, okay, the organized territory of what was the Louisiana Purchase, which is 1803, and how we're moving west. And I think the main purpose of this is expansion. And how did expansion lead to sectionalism? That could bring in some of my arguments on document one. And so what did the Missouri Compromise? So I need to say this map is about the Missouri Compromise in my basic definition. And what can I say about the Missouri Compromise that to describe the document and the impact of the Missouri Compromise? And then my evaluation period is how am I going to make that argument fit me and fit my thesis is I'm going to go, okay, how did it have an impact on the North and the South? So document one could be both North and South, I think, and sectionalism is maybe how I want to use that. So look how it's separating here. No more North and South, everything new territories. All right. This next one This is John Doyle of Potawatomi Massacre, 1856. Well, this is right before the Civil War, but I'm seeing something really significant here. Is John Brown. And John Brown's in Kansas, and he killed this dude's dad and brother, and the complexion of most of these men, blah. My father and brothers were pro-slavery men and belonged to the Law and Order Party, which was pro-slavery. So document 2 is talking about John Brown, an abolitionist in Kansas. But more than that, the Kansas-Nebraska Act and its impact on Northerners and Southerners. So that could be both a North and a South. So John Brown, outside information I could bring in on that, maybe Harper's Ferry's raid with John Brown and the divisiveness between the North and the South. And when I'm talking about impact. Document 3, blah, blah, blah. Boston, April 24th, 1851. My description of this needs to be the Compromise of 1850. What was it? What was it intended to do? What specifically, as a part of the Compromise of 1850, is this talking about? And I would have to say that that's probably referring to, in my description, one sentence, two sentence, my description of the Compromise of 1850 would be the fugitive slave law. But what else did that do that I could add to an argument about sectionalism between the North and the South? So I think this could be North and South as well. Either way, I wanted to argue it. So Compromise of 1850, fugitive slave law that also brought California in the Union. All right. Document 4, I'm going to pick one of these, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right. So I'm going to go with this map. And this is, either way I wanted to go on this, but as I look at it, is radical reconstruction. No, the one on the left is military. The military is the radical reconstruction and forcing the South to obey the federal laws and mandates of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, which, big time here. So it is them stepping in. Also, if we went to the other document, it shows the South not going quietly and the reaction of the South to the military being there and the force feeding of equality that was being forced upon the South by the North by the radical reconstruction all the way to 1877. And then I look at document 5 and I see Rutherford B. Hayes, 1877, and he says, my policy, blah, 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 is to put aside the bayonet. I do not want the wise policy is decided contested election states by the use of the National Army. So he's taking out the Army, this Army up here. And so I'm thinking that that is the end of Reconstruction, and what will happen after that, which is the rise of Jim Crow laws and the rise of black codes and the increase in tenant and sharecropping, and also just the idea of racism. And if you look at the bottom, you got another map, the strong government, 1860 to 1877, and the South carrying the strong government. Then over here, we've got Rutherford, the weak government, 1877 to 1881. So this gives the same plan that the South is now on their own to farm and do what they will, as before the South was carrying the Northern carpetbaggers and whatnot in document 5 there at the map. So let me move along quickly here. So I've got to somehow contextualize this, and I've got to talk about westward expansion, and I need to kind of go back. Remember my idea here, and I'm going to go to this real quick. I got to create my first paragraph, and so my first paragraph is, I'm going to make a bigger font here first of all, and I need to contextualize this in 2 to 3 sentences, just throwing down as much factual things, events that I can come up with, to set the stage for when I'm going for my thesis statement. And so first thing I'm going to say, and I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, but I'm going to say, after the American Revolution, I'm sorry, all caps here, but after the American I guess they won't care on the college boards. After the American Revolution, the ratification of the Constitution failed to deal with the issue of slavery. As America pushed west, and I'm going to put starting with Thomas Jefferson's purchase of the Louisiana Territory from France, the American identity began to separate along economic, I'll say this, along lines depending on slavery in your slavery as a source of economic prosperity. Now, all right, I'm going to say here American Revolution, ratification of the Constitution. I might even say failed to deal with slavery, as in the 3/5, except for the 3/5 compromise. Okay, so I'm looking for little snippets I'm throwing in here, and this would be a snippet where I need that. Remember, I'm throwing out things, and I'm thinking Thomas Jefferson, Louisiana Purchase, from France. These are all things that I need. Louisiana Territory from France that they're looking for as part of my contextualization, that I'm showing certain events and things and people and places that are happening along these lines that are establishing, setting the stage for my thesis. Now, if I went by the thesis formula, I'm going to say I need an X. Okay. And now I'm going to say X. Although the United States continued to be loosely unified, okay, unified, economic, political, and social factors began to began to establish a division within our country based on the issue of slavery called sectionalism. And I'm sorry, I'm just throwing this together. All right, and I'm gonna need a therefore, or I need to come up with, I need to compare the North and the South, and so I need some sort of trigger phrase, and so I'm gonna say my why. This is my thesis. And so let's go to my question here. To what extent? Okay. Impact. And so I need to make a definitive claim in the North and the South. And my claim is, and what are you thinking? We're both, and I need to say extent, influenced to the point of civil war. The Northerners were both influenced to the point of civil war, and failed reunification that came during Reconstruction. The divisions of both geographic regions were, and I'm thinking extent, to what extent were both highly were both highly triggered. Were both except sorry. Frequently could not be the so back to the why. The North and the South were both influenced to the point of civil war and failed reunification that came during Reconstruction. Division of both geographic regions, consequently, were highly influenced by many factors for both the North and the South. All right. So here's my claim. The North and the South were both influenced to the point of civil war, and my claim is here. So I need to end up to back up my claim. I need to say that, see how highly influenced and what factors influence both the North and the South. So with that being said, I need to say this is my A. I need a paragraph on the North, and I'm going to need a paragraph on the South. No, I'm just throwing this together, but that are talking about the next paragraph, that are going into the details of how they were highly influenced. And this is where I would put my documents in. And so here's my first paragraph. Okay. Here's my second paragraph, would be my A. Second paragraph would be North or South. And my third paragraph would be South, where I'm going into talking about how they were influenced, where I'm throwing my document. And my fourth paragraph would be me going back and talking about my X again, where I'm talking about the result long term, or what was happening with Jim Crow laws, and with to get my extra point for um, higher level thinking, my analysis. Okay, and so number 4 would be my conclusion and my connections. So hope this helped a little bit on what you're going to be doing. I'm going to put some different thesis statements out there, some formulas where you can help put those in. And the rest of this to me would be really easy to write, because now all we got to do is I've set the first paragraph is going to be the hardest. You got 10 minutes to do documents. You've got form your counterpoint, form your contextualization, form your thesis, where you are not restating the question, but you are putting together a argument. And my argument is that they were highly influenced by many factors in both areas, North and South, not one versus the other. I could have argued that maybe, but I wanted to argue both North and South were highly influenced. So hope this helped. Talk to you guys later.